Hi, I'm Brittany Riley, and you're in the kitchen with Britt. I'm here at Home Appliance in Avon, Ohio, in the Thermador kitchen, and we're going to make fondue. So, fondue is a super fun dish to make when you're entertaining or just for your family around the dinner table. Basically, very few ingredients. We've got some cheeses. I'm using some Gruyère and then some Jarlsberg Swiss. We have some fresh chopped garlic. We have some white wine. I would suggest something dry that's not super flavorful, like a Sauvignon Blanc is perfect because it doesn't have like the oakiness of a Chardonnay, for instance. Little salt and pepper, a little bit of fresh nutmeg actually brings out some flavors in the cheeses really nicely, and then some cornstarch. So traditionally, fondue was actually kind of a winter dish that was made in Switzerland, Sweden, hard winters, and you're using up kind of the ends of different things. So you might have like one potato and a little bit of some vegetables, a little bit of fruit, maybe the heel of a loaf of bread that's a couple days old and stale, ends of the cheese, bottom of the bottle of wine, stuff like that. So that's kind of how it was developed. Sorry about all the noise. We're a working showroom, so we've got all sorts of clatter happening. And I chose the Thermador kitchen today to use because we have induction here, which induction is such a true to temperature way of cooking. So I can keep it really low once I'm done. And I can actually even just set up all my good dippers and stuff, and we can gather around the induction and dip right into it, and you don't have to worry the surface doesn't really get very hot. So that's one thing that's kind of nice. I could actually serve it right from here, or I can put it on my board and just kind of bring it back for reheating, stuff like that. So induction is also really great because whenever I'm melting cheese over the stovetop, I always want to be really careful that I don't have my heat too high. So being able to rely on the temperature of the induction is great. If you're working at home with gas or electric, you're definitely going to want to just use pretty low heat, medium low. So I'm going to get this going right now. I just have a little bit of olive oil. And what I'm going to do is warm that up and saute my garlic. All right, so while my garlic is sauteing for just about a minute, we're going to go ahead and toss 1 tablespoon of cornstarch into our cheese. We have basically right about a pound of cheese. Over here, I'm preheating my pan because I'm going to just sear up some steak. That'll be one of our dippers. Speaking of dippers, you can basically use anything you can find that sounds good dipped in cheese. So traditionally, like some pieces of steak or some other kind of meat. I usually will put some roasted potatoes on the pan. I like to also make sure that there's lots of good veggies. We'll turn that down a hair. So I steamed some broccoli. I steamed some green beans. We're going to chop up some apple and put some crackers. There's our wine. Some crackers, some pretzels, chunks of sourdough bread. We'll see what else we can find. All sorts of goodies, some fresh veggies, some carrots chopped up and stuff like that. So basically, at this point, we have just that garlic that we sauteed. Now we have our white wine in here. We're just going to kind of bring that up to a simmer. I'll turn that heat down and get our steak in here just to sear. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add about a half a cup of cheese at a time and wait until it completely melts before adding in the next, addition of it. And then we have a little fresh nutmeg, some salt and pepper to finish it off. And generally, I don't like pre-measure my salt and pepper just because our cheese is salty. We want to kind of just do it to taste and just keep checking to make sure that we don't over season. But I'm going to start with my first addition of cheese, and I'm just going to kind of scoop it in, and then you don't want to go too long without giving it a stir here and there. So we'll just kind of keep that going. The cornstarch is being used to help to kind of thicken it up and make sure that we bind it all. And we'll come back in a few minutes. All right, so we are going to let this steak rest. I'm going to go put it on my board to rest, and then we'll slice it up here soon. This is looking perfect. So what I'm going to do is while I'm getting all of my dippers plated up. I'm going to just turn this down to super low so it doesn't start to solidify at all, but we don't want to, have it start sticking to the bottom or anything like that. Looks awesome. It tastes really good too. Get this all ready to serve.